Hello. Dear friend, have you ever wondered how to live a good life and develop yourself holistically? Stoicism might be the key you're looking for. Stoicism, a philosophy of life from the Hellenistic period, not only provides useful life principles, but also helps us cope with the difficulties and pressures of modern life. Stoicism is not about being ascetic or being strict with yourself. Instead, it teaches us how to control our thoughts and emotions and find happiness by living in harmony with human nature and the world. Stoic philosophers, such as Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, left behind invaluable lessons on how to face life's challenges with resilience and calm. The question is Stoicism something I must believe in or commit to? The answer is no. The Stoics believe that to benefit from this philosophy, it is not necessary to commit completely. What's important is that you can apply its sound principles to everyday life. Consider figures the Stoics admired, like Socrates, Diogenes of Sinope, or Stilpo of Megara. They were not Stoics, but applied similar philosophies to live a meaningful life. The philosophies of Stoicism are not limited to the ancient period, but also have a profound influence on modern methods such as cognitive behavioral therapy. Therefore, studying and practicing Stoicism can bring you a more peaceful and happy life. If you appreciate what we're doing here, one simple and free thing I'd like to ask you to do is hit the subscribe button. Also, don't forget to leave a comment with your thoughts and the ways you apply the Stoic philosophy in your daily life. Consider yourself an exception, and stay tuned for the unique insights we will discover together. Thank you for taking the time to follow and support. Let's build a more meaningful and peaceful life together every day. Let's get started. Dear friend, first question, I want you to understand why study Stoicism. Stoicism is one of the major philosophies concerned with finding the best way to live one's life and how to develop as a human being. What is the mission of Stoicism? That is training the human mind to become resilient and calm when facing the pain and pressure of life. The Stoic view holds that our suffering is the result of our faulty approach to perceiving problems. Stoicism does not mean strictness or asceticism. Instead, it holds that to achieve happiness, we must live in harmony with human nature and the world. Question is Stoicism something I have to believe in or commit to? The Stoics believed that to benefit from philosophy required dedication, but they did not think that earning or deserving the label Stoic was important. They do not believe that one needs to be a Stoic to be a philosopher, nor that a philosopher's views should be based on allegiance to a school. They believe that opinion should be reached through reason. Many figures whom the Stoics admired, such as Socrates, were not Stoics, and sometimes belonged to rival philosophical schools, such as Diogenes of Sinope and Stilpo of Megara. Stoic philosophy encompasses a wide variety of philosophical issues, and people often agree with some Stoic views while disagreeing with others. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, learned from philosophers of different schools before teaching, and many elements of Stoicism were adapted from rival schools. The Stoics had some common views, but also unique views that distinguished them from other schools. After its founding, Stoic ideas were adopted or adapted by many philosophers and religious sects outside of Stoicism. In the same way that Stoicism took ideas from other schools while still remaining distinct, many philosophers were influenced by Stoicism without being Stoics themselves. Modern readers often encounter ancient philosophical ideas through Stoicism. Most find consensus or inspiration in some parts while selectively applying them to their lives. Occasionally, they found Stoic views with which they agreed were shared with rivals, such as the Epicureans or Peripatetics, prompting further study of those schools. Many people are indirectly influenced by Stoicism without even realizing it. For example, Stoicism significantly impacts cognitive behavioral therapy, a popular treatment method, although most patients and therapists may be unaware of this connection. The Stoics believed that philosophical positions should be accepted based on reasoned arguments, not authority, coercion, or loyalty to a school or system. Diogenes Laertius tells a story about Zeno attending Stilpo's lectures, despite having studied with Crates of Thebes. When Crates pulled him away from Stilpo by his cloak, Zeno said, "O Crates, the right way to keep philosophers is by the ear. Convince me and lead me by the ear." But if you use force, my body may be with you, but my mind will be with Stilpa. Thus, one does not need to be a Stoic to learn from the Stoics, and the Stoics themselves do not advocate adopting the views of the Stoics. Stoicism without rational persuasion. However, to learn from the Stoics and their philosophy, one must seriously study Stoicism and the Stoics. To learn from any philosophy, you must consider, understand, and reflect thoughtfully on those parts of the system that seem counterintuitive or unfamiliar. According to the Stoics, the whole point of learning about Stoicism is to learn from it. If you only learn about it without learning from it, the Stoics believe that nothing will be achieved. Main points of Stoicism. Stoicism outlines life into 3 parts. What we can control, our actions and thoughts. What we cannot control, natural factors and the actions of others. What we can partially control, tasks involving others. An important philosophy of Stoicism is not to try to control what happens to you, because that is impossible. Instead, control your reactions to these events. The Stoic sages recommend ignoring the second group, focusing on the first group, and planning for the third group. Another important Stoic philosophy is to focus on what you can control and develop the virtues necessary to face life's adversities with a peaceful and resilient mind. Famous Stoic philosophers: Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, playwright and political advisor Lucius Annius Seneca the Younger, slave becomes teacher Epictetus. The basic principles of Stoicism. The main principle of Stoicism is to accept that we cannot control the external world, but we can achieve peace and happiness by focusing on what we can control, like our beliefs and actions. Epictetus wrote in his book The Enchiridion, "Some things are within our control, and some are not. What we control are our opinions, wants, and dislikes, whatever we make of ourselves. What we cannot control are our bodies, our fortunes, our reputations, our commands, anything that is not our own actions." The main goal of a Stoic person is to learn self-control of harmful emotional reactions, such as anger, envy, and jealousy. Essentially, it means living by reason rather than emotion. Stoicism teaches us how to live well even in uncertain and stressful circumstances. For Stoics, the path to happiness depends on a few core principles. Discipline to avoid being controlled by desires or fears, pain and suffering. Distinguishing what is within our influence and what is not. See yourself, the world, and others objectively, and accept them as they are. Appreciate and be grateful for everything you receive. Why has Stoicism become so popular? Stoicism is a practical guide to bringing wisdom into your daily choices, focusing on living a reasoned and flourishing life, characterized by excellent judgment and fulfilling happiness. The Stoics believed that just as physical pain comes from illness or injury, human pain arises from inaccurate judgments and beliefs, especially about the good and bad. Bad thing. Correcting these judgments and beliefs is challenging, perhaps impossible, but the study and practice of Stoicism aims to improve those who practice it. The COVID-19 pandemic. Economic downturn, loss of income, loss of jobs, and threats of bankruptcy have created a VUCA, volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous world. In this context, many people face material and mental difficulty. This is where Stoicism flourished for 2 main reasons. First, it teaches us to take responsibility for our perception, the real cause of suffering. Instead of blaming the world or others for our circumstances or bad moods, we are empowered to realize that we create our own happiness. No one else can do it for us. Therefore, the ability to find meaning and happiness in life lies in our choices and reactions to pain and pressure. Second, Stoicism defines the boundaries between what we can do and what we cannot control. Many people suffer trying to control the uncontrollable elements of life, leading to feelings of helplessness, bitterness, and resentment. What we can control is limited: our thoughts, beliefs, perceptions, and actions. In this way, we develop a resilient mindset capable of facing life's storms with strength and composure. At the same time, inner courage gives us the freedom to navigate our world, unaffected by luck or sudden changes in circumstances. Essentially, Stoicism invites us on a journey of self-discovery, using inner happiness to strive for a good life. Then Stoic philosophy deals with the everyday problems of the individual. It is truly beneficial for everyone, especially in today's context. How to practice Stoicism? Stoic philosophy can change the trajectory of your life by cultivating wisdom, inner peace, and resilience. The following are simple instructions for starting to practice Stoicism: accept change and impermanence. With the rapid advancement of technology, jobs are constantly changing. A skill that is valued today may become obsolete tomorrow. Adaptation and resilience are essential for success. Stoicism helps develop these qualities. Instead of resisting, Stoics accept change as natural and necessary. When the change is negative, for example, a coworker quits, Stoics believe that suffering comes from not accepting the change. Instead of being sad or sulking about the departure, seize the opportunities that a new colleague can bring. Realize that some things are within your control, while others are not. Focus your energy on what you can influence, such as your thoughts, feelings, and actions, while accepting the things you cannot change. This method of stress reduction is consistent with modern psychology. Reinterpreting situations is important to control emotions and anger. Philosophers reasoned that what was lost could be easily replaced. To avoid recurring problems, buy a cheaper item, clay instead of iron, and avoid competing with a professional thief. Distinguishing controlled and uncontrolled helps achieve inner peace and reduce stress instantly. Premeditatio malorum. Premeditatio malorum. This exercise, commonly practiced by ancient Stoics such as Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, involves imagining negative scenarios. William B. Irvine writes in A Guide to the Good Life that premeditatio malorum involves thinking about what we value and imagining losing them. This process helps us appreciate what we have and prepare to prevent bad outcomes. It cultivates gratitude by appreciating the positive aspects. Manage your time better. Time is our most valuable asset. Therefore, Stoics advise using it effectively. Focus on the most important tasks instead of treating everything the same. When working, tackle the hardest tasks first. Enhance emotional intelligence, EQ. EQ is at the core of Stoicism and the key to success in the modern workplace. Emotionally intelligent Stoics only worry about what they can control. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Cultivate gratitude. Develop gratitude by recognizing and appreciating the positive aspects of life. Practice positive lessons. Program your mind to be grateful and live in every moment of blessing. Amor fati. Love your destiny. Learn to love and accept your destiny, including its challenges and difficulties. Live fully in the present moment and appreciate everything and everyone in your life. Have a positive dialogue with yourself. Stoics distinguish between solitude and loneliness, which are important for self-dialogue and stress reduction. Epictetus argued that feeling lonely is no reason for despair, as it is a natural part of existence. People are not lonely just because they are lonely, just as not everyone in a crowd is connected to each other. Accept this loneliness and learn to communicate with yourself to overcome and recover. You may be facing the difficult times of life alone, but that doesn't mean you're powerless to manage stress or tackle life's challenges. Humor as a way to relieve stress. Epictetus used humor to relieve tension. If I must die now, I am ready. If not, I will go to dinner. It is time for dinner. Modern psychologists like Bill Irvine respond to criticism with jokes. Oh, you think my essay missed the point? You haven't read my mother's paper. Use humor wisely. Don't mock yourself or others or cross the line between humor and sarcasm. Reacting with arrogance and contempt rarely reduces tension and often increases it. Stoics often use mindfulness to observe their own emotions, behaviors, and lifestyle. By combining these methods and principles, we can bring Stoic philosophy into our daily lives, which over time will significantly change our perception of the world. Stoicism may seem like an ancient philosophy suited to a bygone era, but it offers practical lessons from stress reduction to interpersonal behavior. Switching to a Stoic mindset is a gradual journey that requires daily practice. When unexpected events or challenges arise, we naturally react with a calm and steady mindset. Every journey starts with small steps, and we can start building this lifestyle today. What is Stoicism in history? Stoicism was a school of philosophy in ancient Greece and Rome. The lessons of this school include a broad curriculum with intellectual and practical elements aimed at improving or transforming a person's character. Although we have records of the books the Stoics studied, The actual texts did not survive the Middle Ages, and the oral tradition ended in 529 AD. What remains are indirect accounts from competitors, encyclopedic compilations, and notes from later Stoics. Epictetus's notes were written by his student Arrian, not by Epictetus himself. Accounts of Musonius Rufus's teachings are also indirect. Seneca and Marcus Aurelius were politicians, not professional philosophers. Stoic education has three parts: logic, ethics, and physics. According to Lives of Eminent Philosophers by Diogenes Laertius, they say that philosophy is like an animal. Logic is its bones and sinews, ethics its flesh, and physics its soul. They also compare it to an egg. Logic is the shell, ethics is the white, and physics is the yolk. Or like a fertile field, logic is the fence, ethics is the crop, and physics is the soil or trees. Or like a city protected by walls and governed by reason. Some Stoics believe that no part is independent, but all are intertwined. As materialist pantheists, the physical Stoics included theology. This education encompasses knowledge and character building, i.e., learn wisdom and train yourself to act wisely. Although later Stoics apparently continued to teach other branches, the surviving texts from Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, and Musonius Rufus focus primarily on ethics. The reason for this emphasis remains unclear. It may be that the Roman Stoics placed more importance on ethics than the Greeks, or that ethical writings may have endured longer over time. Extant texts indicate that later Stoics considered physics and logic important as long as they aided moral development. Whether this was a feature from the beginning, common among later Roman Stoics, or present only in surviving texts, is unclear. So, we have just learned what Stoicism is. If you find these useful, please click the subscribe button so you don't miss the next videos on how to live better and develop yourself. Don't forget to leave a comment below on how you've applied Stoicism in your life. Your sharing will help our community become stronger, supporting each other on the journey to find peace and happiness. Thank you for following and supporting. Let's stay positive and inspire each other every day.